Have you ever scrolled through your feed, watching the world flaunt its shiny treasures, and felt that sinking weight in your chest? The glamorous vacations, luxury cars, and perfect lives seem to whisper, "You're behind." But here's a secret. What you see is rarely the whole story. We live in an age where wealth is staged like a theater play. Designer outfits are worn like costumes, and extravagant dinners are just props. But behind the scenes, credit card bills pile up, financial stress brews, and those perfect snapshots lose their shine. Take my coworker, for instance. He once posted photos from an Italian getaway, straight out of a postcard. First-class flights, Michelin-starred meals, and suites at the Four Seasons. I couldn't fathom how he afforded it on the same paycheck as mine. Turns out, the trip wasn't just expensive, it was a declaration of heartbreak. He racked up over $100,000 in debt just to make his ex jealous. You see, the world often rewards the appearance of wealth, not the reality of it. It's easy to buy a moment of luxury with borrowed money, but true wealth, the kind that brings peace of mind and freedom, grows quietly. Most millionaires, as revealed in The Millionaire Next Door, don't live like movie stars. They drive used cars, shop at regular stores, and avoid flashy displays. Why? Because real success isn't in what you show. It's in what you keep. So, the next time someone's life looks impossibly perfect, pause and remember. Wealth isn't in the things we see. It's in the freedom, security, and stability we don't. That's the kind of wealth worth chasing. Comparison is a thief that creeps into your thoughts when you least expect it. You scroll past a friend's shiny new car, another's sprawling vacation photos, and suddenly your own life feels a little smaller, a little less bright. But here's the truth. Comparing your journey to someone else's is like chasing shadows. Always out of reach, always leaving you empty. Our minds are wired to seek reference points. If you don't know where you're headed, it's easy to look at others to figure out where you should be. But this instinct, while natural, can trap you. Their success might be built on a foundation you don't see. Their joy might be fleeting, and their reality might not even match the picture they've painted. Think about social media. No one shares the ordinary, the mundane, the moments when they're struggling. Instead, you see highlight reels, curated moments that sparkle and shine. But behind the camera, there are credit card bills, sleepless nights, and doubts, just like yours. The cost of these comparisons isn't just emotional. It clouds your vision, steals your focus, and pushes you toward goals that aren't even yours. You start chasing what looks good to others, not what feels good to you. And the irony? The people you're comparing yourself to might be doing the same thing, looking at someone else, wishing they had what they think you have. The antidote is simple, but not easy. Shift your focus inward. Measure your progress not against others, but against the person you were yesterday. Did you take a step forward? Did you learn something new? Did you grow even just a little? That's what matters. Remember, the shadows you're chasing aren't real. They're illusions, projections, distractions. Let them go and turn toward your own light. It's been waiting for you all along. In a world obsessed with spectacle, true wealth doesn't announce itself. It doesn't shimmer on your wrist or roar down the street on four gleaming wheels. Real wealth grows in silence, hidden in the shadows of consistent choices and patient faith. We often crave visible rewards, don't we? A new gadget, a luxury brand, a moment of applause. It's tempting to spend for the here and now, to trade what's unseen for what's admired. But there's a different kind of richness, one that whispers instead of shouts. It's in the accounts you've quietly built, the stocks you've held onto, and the steady decisions that secure your future. I remember when my friends and I started working our first jobs. One friend bought a shiny new car just 3 months in. Another swapped their entire wardrobe for designer labels. And then there was me, still wearing my old shoes, still using my scratched-up phone, quietly funneling my money into investments no one could see. Back then, it felt lonely, unimpressive. But fast forward a few years, and that quiet strategy became freedom. Freedom to start my own business. freedom to say yes to opportunities without hesitation. Meanwhile, the same friends were stuck, tied down by the very things they thought would elevate them. Morgan Housel, in The Psychology of Money, puts it perfectly. Wealth is what you don't see. It's not the lavish vacations or the newest gadgets. It's the savings, the investments, the safety net that lets you sleep at night and dream without fear. Invisible riches don't demand validation. They're the seeds you plant in the soil, trusting they'll grow even if no one else notices. And when they bloom, that's a wealth that no one can take away. So the next time you're tempted to splurge for the sake of appearances, pause. Remember that the real treasure isn't in what you show. It's in what you build quietly, steadily for the life you truly want. Success, as the world defines it, is a mirage, a shimmering, unattainable image shaped by the expectations of others. It's easy to lose yourself in its glow, chasing goals you didn't set and dreams that aren't truly yours. But what if you stopped running? What if you turned inward and asked yourself, what does success mean to me? For years, I lived someone else's dream. I followed the well-trodden path, stepping into roles society deemed prestigious. Yet, every morning, I woke up empty, my reflection in the mirror, a stranger. My choices weren't mine. They were borrowed from parents, peers, and the culture that surrounds us. It wasn't until I cracked under the weight of it all that I realized I'd never even asked myself what I truly wanted. We are all wired to compare, to seek reference points in a chaotic world. But without your own compass, you'll drift aimlessly, letting others' lives become your map. A friend's promotion, a celebrity's wealth, a neighbor's new car. They're not your milestones. They're theirs. The journey that matters is yours. Psychologists speak of 3 core needs for true fulfillment: autonomy, competence, and connection. Autonomy is the freedom to choose your own path. Competence is the satisfaction of mastering something that matters to you. Connection is the warmth of meaningful relationships. None of these are found in blindly chasing someone else's version of success. When I finally sat down to redefine success, I asked myself simple but profound questions. What kind of life do I want to live? What values matter most to me? Am I moving closer to them or further away? Suddenly, the comparisons lost their power. My only benchmark became my past self. Was I growing, learning, becoming more aligned with who I wanted to be? The answers reshaped everything. Redefining success is not about abandoning ambition. It's about channeling it. Your compass doesn't have to point where everyone else's does. It just has to lead you home, to the life that's truly yours. So, take a moment. Set down the map that was handed to you and draw your own. It won't be perfect. It might not even make sense to anyone else. But that's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to. Because when you're walking your own path, every step feels like success. Envy, it creeps in quietly, like a shadow in the corner of your mind, whispering doubts. Why does their life look so perfect? Why do they have what I don't? It's a feeling we don't like to admit, but we've all been there. Scrolling through social media, catching glimpses of lives that seem brighter, easier, more successful. But what if envy wasn't your enemy? What if, instead of dragging you down, it became the spark that lifted you higher? Here's the truth. The people you envy are not better than you. They're just ahead of you in one specific way. And here's the other truth. With the right mindset, you can turn that feeling of inadequacy into a map, showing you exactly where you want to go. This is the essence of the growth mindset. It's the belief that your abilities, your circumstances, even your place in life are not fixed. They're fluid, flexible, and ever-changing. Envy doesn't have to be a trap. It can be a signal, a teacher, a challenge to yourself to rise, to learn, to grow. Take a moment to reflect. Instead of asking, why do they have it? Ask yourself, how did they get there? Shift the focus from frustration to curiosity. Behind every visible success lies a story, a trail of habits, decisions, and effort. What can you take from it? What can you apply to your own journey? I remember the first time I saw someone in my field achieve what I had only dared to dream of. My first reaction was a mix of awe and despair. They made it look effortless. But then, instead of wallowing, I leaned in. I started to notice the patterns. They showed up consistently, even when it wasn't glamorous. They invested in learning, not just earning. They surrounded themselves with people who inspired them. Slowly, I realized their success wasn't magic. It was a recipe, and I could cook it too. This is the gift of the growth mindset. It takes envy, an emotion rooted in scarcity, and flips it on its head. It tells you, there's enough for everyone. There's enough for you. It shifts the question from, why not me? To, why not now? But adopting this mindset requires action. It means showing up, even when it's uncomfortable. It means accepting failure, not as a dead end, but as a step forward. It means looking at someone else's success and thinking, thank you for showing me what's possible. The next time envy knocks, don't slam the door. Invite it in. Let it show you where you're yearning to grow. Let it challenge you to see potential, not just problems. Because the path from envy to empowerment isn't a leap, it's a mindset. And every step you take with that mindset is a step toward the version of you that once felt impossible. So, embrace the envy. Transform it. Let it propel you forward. Because with a growth mindset, the only limit is the one you leave behind.